Let's start the second 9 weeks off hot. We're doing hot takes in Jefferson Multimedia. I want you to pick a controversial topic, something that you're really opinionated about, and preach it to me. If you write it as a monologue where it's just you talking, it needs to be 60 seconds long, minimum. If you want to write it like an argument between two people, which might be a little bit more fun, it needs to be 90 seconds. But all you do is take something you really, really believe in, and you tell me why it's true. Surprise, mine is about music. Let's read it and see what my hot take is. As a Gen X dad, the one thing I constantly see on my social media feeds is this: there is no good music anymore. This comment is usually coming from a 50-year-old guy like me who thinks that rock is dead, rock is dead, rock is dead, and there's nothing he can listen to anymore. Dude, lighten up. The men who say this are stuck in classic rock. We grew up in the 70s with bands like Led Zeppelin and Bad Company. They were big, they were loud, and they matched our crazy teenage energy. They would spit blood, breathe fire, and at the end of the show, they'd smash their instruments. Cool. But when I discovered Spotify more than a decade ago, I looked at the section marked Recommended Artists, probably when I was listening to Heart or Pat Benatar, and a ton of female singer-songwriters popped up. In one summer, I discovered Adele, Amy Winehouse, and Sarah Bareilles, and my entire outlook on music changed. Now my playlist is balanced. Yeah, there's some men in there, but there are tons of female artists. Pop, soul, hip-hop, some in English, some in French. You name it. They sing it and they record it. I'm not stuck in my classic rock rut anymore. I'm listening to new music. So if you're a guy who thinks there's no good music anymore, head to your streaming service and start with female artists you know, like Stevie Nicks or Blondie or Sheryl Crow. Scroll down to recommended artists and find someone new. Good stuff is out there. You just need to know where to look. If you do it like a conversation between more than one person, an argument between two or more people, it might make it more fun. I'm still complaining about classic rock dads, but I'm switching the topic just a little bit. So before you do this, center your text on the screen. For each person talking, give them a name written by itself on one line, like Guy 1. Then you hit return and just write the words they say. And every time the person speaking changes, you leave a blank line. So Guy 1 talks, and then you leave a blank line. And then Guy 2 talks, and then you leave a blank line. Are you ready to hear the script? This one's a little bit more opinionated, but here we go. Van Halen was better with David Lee Roth, not Sammy Hagar. There's no Black Sabbath without Ozzy. Lots of middle-aged guys have lots of rigid opinions about their music. One of the biggest ones? The original lineup of Kiss is the only lineup of Kiss. These men love to talk about their feelings, but do me a favor, guys. Have you ever read their autobiographies? All 4 of them have one. And they all show that the band was so dysfunctional, there's no way they could stay together. On one side, Paul and Gene, 2 businessmen who knew the brand of Kiss. They turned their band into a business, and they made millions in merch and publicity. On the other side, Pete and Ace, 2 rock and roll party guys who just wanted to have a good time. Once you add money and fame to that crazy mismatch of priorities, they were destined to split up. If you read the books, you'll see that all 4 guys also had some serious flaws. And would you still hang out with your friends if you couldn't stand them anymore? No! So get over it, because this original lineup split in 1980. That's 45 years ago. I think it's time you moved on, because the band has, whether you like it or not. But I don't want to move on. I don't ever want anything to change. Okay, boomer. What? So a monologue is 60 seconds, a conversation, fight, whatever you want to call it, between 2 or more people is 90 seconds. Let's start with the brainstorming and the writing, and soon I'll show you how I want to use ordinary conversation to teach us the basics of capitalization, punctuation, and all of the grammar stuff that you get in English class, but you want it to make a little bit more sense in how you write as a person one person talking to another. That's all I got. Thanks. Bye-bye.